Why is propositional logic important for critical thinking? Here is a real-world example. Someone says, "If you care about me, you will buy me a gift." You did not buy me a gift. Therefore, you do not care about me. Let us translate. P is equal to, you care about me. Q is equal to, you buy me a gift. The argument says, PQ and Q, therefore P. Surprisingly, this is actually a valid logical form. If the first statement were true, the conclusion would follow. The problem is not the logic. The problem is that the premise, if you care, you will buy a gift, might be false in real life. Propositional logic helps us separate the form of an argument from the truth of its premises. Propositional logic as a recipe. Think of propositional logic like a recipe. Propositions P, Q, R are your ingredients like flour, eggs, and sugar. Logical operators are your cooking actions like mixing or baking. And a truth table is like the final taste test. It tells you whether the dish is good or not. Just as a recipe shows how ingredients combine to make a dish, propositional logic shows how truth values combine to make a compound statement true or false. Propositional logic is a tool for clear thinking, so remember, propositional logic is a tool for clear thinking. It turns ordinary sentences into symbols and gives you rules to combine them. This helps you analyze arguments, avoid confusion, and make better decisions in school, at work, and in everyday life. You do not need to become a logician, but learning these 5 connectives will change how you listen to debates, read news, and even argue with friends. Example of P, Q. Arg. Getting ready for college. Here is a morning routine example. Let P is equal to, I set my alarm clock. Q is equal to, I wake up on time. R is equal to, I reach class before the teacher. Using these, you can build complex statements. For instance, if I set my alarm and I wake up on time, then I will reach class before the teacher becomes PQ, R. This is not just abstract. It is exactly how you can debug why you are late in the morning. Truth check, real-life thinking. Let us test that statement. PQ, R. If you set your alarm, P true, and you wake up on time, Q true, but you still reach class after the teacher, then R is false. In that case, the implication is false. Why? Because the promise was broken. The logic forces you to ask, was there traffic? Did you waste time? That is the power of propositional logic. It does not just describe the world. It helps you find gaps between your assumptions and reality. Fun everyday example, story form. Let us end with a fun example. If I study for the exam and I get enough sleep, then I will get an A+. Let P is equal to, I study for the exam, Q is equal to, I get enough sleep, and R is equal to, I get an A+. In logic, P, Q, R. Now here is a discussion question for you. What if you study and sleep well? So both P and Q are true, but you still do not get an A+? Then the statement is false, because the promise was broken. But maybe the exam was unfair, or you made careless mistakes. Logic alone cannot fix that, but it tells you exactly where your expectation failed. Conclusion. To wrap up, propositional logic gives us a precise language for reasoning. We learned about propositions, the 5 operators, negation, conjunction, disjunction, implication, and biconditional, and how to translate everyday sentences into logical form. This is not just for philosophers or computer scientists. It is for anyone who wants to think more clearly and argue more fairly.
Cognitive question. Here is your thought-provoking question for today. Consider this statement. If it is raining, then the ground is wet. The ground is wet. Can you conclude that it is raining? Think carefully. Is that logically valid or not? Drop your answer in the comments below. If you think you got it right, hit the thumbs up. Thank you for watching and keep thinking critically.